All right, Thoroughbreds, welcome back to another Penalty Broncos podcast. We are the number one Broncos podcast that we listen to. I'm coming to you from the Bandwagon Bar, and we've got Ringer and Langers online. Langers, you're back on board, mate. Big couple of weeks.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, definitely been a big couple of weeks tiki touring around the countryside down in God's country for a few sort of days there, and then out to the Gold Coast for seemed like forever. But yeah, no, it was good. Good to be part of that experience, getting everybody back on and doing a few different sort of things that's outside my normal sort of scope of work, I guess you could say. So yeah, good to be back. Obviously, spending time with the family and the little one and whatnot. So yeah, good to wrap around some footy as well.
Yeah, good stuff. And if anyone from the Sunshine Coast, Gold Coast, Brisbane area lost power, this is the man you need to kiss when that came back on. Ringer, mate, how's your week been? You got a bit of moisture out there from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, mate, it's getting a bit wet out in the desert. So, there's a fair bit of rejoicing happening out here, as you can well imagine, predicting it for another few days. So that's been tying up our week, really. So, racing around, getting a few supplies and getting things sorted out because, as you know, you can get cut off for a hell of a long time when when a decent rain event comes through. So that's what we've been sort of doing, mate, for the week. Actually did get some rain yesterday, 55 mil, which doesn't sound like much to you fellas on the coast where you're talking in hundreds, multiples. But yeah, for out here, and then there's big falls of upwards of 100 mil around, so that's big rain for this country. So yeah, definitely some swollen creeks, and yeah, been really interesting. But it sort of traps you, so we've had a lot of time to analyse fucking rugby league, mate. So um, definitely a lot of notes written down for our session tonight. And yeah, just quickly, we've lost a legend this week too. The grill man himself, George Foreman, passed away. Probably one of the most iconic boxers of but just before our generation. But um, one of the really greats of that sport. Fought well into his career, and then had a huge resurgence as we were coming through as George Foreman grills, mate. That's one of the most crazy bloody backup plans ever, isn't it? But it worked out well for Big Georgie boy. But yeah, mate, R.I.P. to old George, one of the greats. It's they all start dropping off the perch, don't they?
Yeah, that's
How's
it.
your
No,
week, bro?
good, mate. And yeah, rest in peace to the great man George Foreman. Mate, we had a couple of records broken here on the during the week up at Townsville here. I've got here that we broke a 27-year-old record, the heaviest 24-hour rainfall with 301.4 millimeters from 9 a.m. on Tuesday to 9 a.m. on Wednesday. That surprises me that it's 27 years, considering we had the 2019 floods. That was pretty big. And then we've had Yazi and fucking all sorts of shit coming through. So, yeah, good effort there. We had one of the kids at their school there. Huge tree fell over and took out 5 of their buses. The poor bloody thing. So, a little bit of insurance going on there, I'd imagine. But yeah, fucking crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. All right, we will kick into the review. That is the Cowboys v the Broncos. We hosted them there on Friday night at Suncorp Stadium. It's been a bit of a one-sided affair, these meetings of recent times. It used to be I remember this one used to be the cause of my high blood pressure. Most games coming down to the wire there. I think, what did we do? 4 games in a row where it was decided by 1 point. But yeah, we've won 4 straight heading into this one, and now we've got the 5th one there. Well done to the Thoroughbreds for getting out and making the first home game of the year the largest attended game so far this season, beating out Vegas even. We beat them by 109. So well done for that. That stadium would have been absolutely heaving.
Yeah.
And it sounded great I know when they were doing Oatsy's little walk of, goodbye walk, and then you hear the music playing and it's so loud and everyone's getting into it as they run out and go to kick off, mate. It's just an awesome stadium, to be a part of. But the first half went 12-0 to us, which was good. Great defensive effort there. Could we have played better? Probably, but we'll get into that. And the second half, unfortunately, was 14-16. We lost that one by 2 points. Thankfully, the overall went to us by way 26-16. We had a possession of 53% to 47%. We had a completion rate of 83% compared to 79, so completed well, which was good to see. The Cows actually beat us out. They are in the average set meters, 35.66. They were getting to our 32.86, which was a bit of a surprising stat that I saw there. Tackle efficiency though was great, 91.76% versus 87.41. Penalty count 7-3. So very lucky to really get away with the game and the points that we got. Errors 10-13. So still a lot of errors, but not as many as what the Cows gave away, thankfully. Langers, how did you see the game, mate?
Mate, I saw the game with hopes of a 13 plus. Thoroughbreds, if you're sort of following along with our best bets, you'd know that I am quite the fan of a Broncos 13 plus. So got dusted by the Raiders last week. Looking for a little bit of redemption. I would have thought that it would have come away pretty easily. I mean, the betting agencies were paying it like, I think it was $1.70 when I put it on, and then it got down to like $1.40 or something like that, which is just heavy favourites. But yeah, no, I've got a little few notes here, so we'll kick in. Yeah, as we all know, Broncos versus Cowboys. You'd say probably the first sort of 15, 20 minutes was pretty good by the Cowboys, like their intensity was pretty good. They obviously didn't allow the Broncos to score or anything like that. It was sort of shaping up to be just that typical derby, like that sort of hard-hitting game, sort of toughing it out, that sort of thing. But then the 13th minute, now, if you've listened to previous episodes, Thoroughbreds, you'd know that the short dropout is just, it's not great in my book. And in the 13th minute, we did one. And did it work? No, it didn't. So another failed dropout. Add that to the list. Our defense was on par, though. It was very, very good, probably above par, I should say. So I think that was lucky to stop a try from that failed dropout. So that's, I guess, one thing in the positives. And then in the 17th minute, we had a double movement from Payne Haas to prevent just an absolute steamrolling first try. Our boy just took out everybody. It was great to see. Unfortunately, had a bit of double movement there, so we couldn't get the first points on the board for the big fella. Then in the 22nd minute, we had a 40-20 from Reece Walsh on the third tackle, and that was like a 40-2. That boy absolutely smoked that ball. Perfect, got it just before the in goal line. It was, probably one of the best kicks that the man's ever done, to be honest. And then from that 40-20, we got ourselves the first try from Jack Guswelski. Mate, Jack, if I'm butchering your name, let us know. Sorry, pal. And that was just from like a little kick behind, little grubber from the little general himself. Kick converted, so 6-0. Then it was sort of just back to that derby, grind, sort of couple of errors, all that sort of stuff. Then in the 35th minute, we had a try for Adam Reynolds after that big break from Gemmet Shibasaki off a pass from the little general himself. So General had the ball, passed it to Shibasaki. Shibasaki ran about 30 metres or so. And then from that had Adam Reynolds strolling over for his first try. So kick converted, 12-0. That was basically it for the first half. I've got a couple of dishonourable mentions, I guess you could say it, if that's a term that you would like to throw around. Had a couple of failed chances in that first half. First one, we had a kick over the top from Benny Hunt for Jesse Arthurs, and it just bounced a bit too high and went out. That was in the 26th minute. When I was watching it, I sort of thought that as the ball left Benny's boot, I sort of felt like, that was a bit too hard, sort of thing. It was going out, and I think just the bounce itself was a little bit sort of, I don't know. It ended up the same sort of result, so it doesn't really matter. But so that was obviously a missed chance. And then we had another one from Adam Reynolds. He did a little grubber in on the first tackle for Cobbo, and it hit the uprights, and that was in the 31st minute. I know there's chat around there. Is it the right play? Is it the wrong play? I don't know. Maybe we can discuss that a little bit later. So yeah, had a couple of failed chances and just sort of multiple errors from both sides. I don't think either side would have been too happy with their performance from the first half. Obviously, Walsh with a few errors again for that first half. And then in the 41st minute, the first minute back from halftime, Cowboys stroll over with Griffin Neame going in for his first try, basically straight after halftime from a like a kick challenge, failed take sort of thing from Jesse Arthurs. Kick converted, 12-6. Then in the 53rd minute, we had a try to Murray Taulagi from the Cowboys after a shoulder charge penalty from Reece Walsh. I saw today that he's getting a $3,000 fine. He's not going to get suspended, so that's good, I guess. But yeah, that shoulder charge did see him on report. They converted that kick, so that was 12 all in the 53rd minute. Then in the 57th minute, which I think all thoroughbreds absolutely loved to see this, we had Cobbo, a winger, absolutely steamroll a front rower in Griffin Neame, absolutely smoked the lad. And from that, which, I mean, let's just talk about that for a second. A winger steamrolling a front rower, mate, you love to see it. You love to see that. Like, Cobbo is no small winger. We all know that. But a winger on a front rower and the winger absolutely blitzing him, you love to see it. You love to see it. That's why we tune in for rugby league every single time the game is on. From that, though, we got a repeat. Yeah, repeat set of 6. Where am I here? Where am I? Yep, repeat set of 6. So from that set of 6, we ended up getting a dropout from them. So a little bit of pressure, then I'm knocking it out. We got ourselves, a dropout. And then from that dropout, we get a try for Jesse Arthurs. Had a little rainbow pass from Reece Walsh straight over to him. He just strolled on in. Beautiful pass, beautiful sort of play. Love to see it. Kick converted, 18-12. Then in the 64th minute, we had a penalty kick. Obviously, Reynolds kicked that one, converted from a high shot on Reece Walsh. He sort of, was slipped as he came into the tackle. So I think whoever got him around the mush probably, it's just one of those things, unfortunately. But yeah, penalty kick converted, 20-12. And that penalty kick actually made Adam Reynolds the third greatest point scorer, which is an absolutely incredible achievement. Like that, what more do you say? That's just amazing sort of stuff. So, 20-12. Then in the 71st minute, which was definitely my try of the night, big bad Payne Haas just ignites his rockets and absolutely burns everybody for the Broncos' fourth try. Like, it was just, I mean, the man is the definition of an athlete. Who has anything bad to say about the lad? Like there wouldn't be a single team out there in Australia or in the world that wouldn't want that boy throwing on the colours for them. He is just a tremendous athlete, and I think we are all just so grateful that the big fella is in the Broncos.
Yeah.
Kick converted, so 26-12. 13 plus territory, boys. 6 minutes to go. What can happen? 13 plus territory, 6 minutes to go. All good. Langers has got his 13 plus back. We're happy days. Right. Fucking wrong. Then the 77th minute, we just had some great build-up play there. And Dean Mariner, Mr. Mariner, sir, all you had to do was just flick it on the Cobbo, and that boy is in. He is in. And then, Langers 13 plus. We're all happy. If the Thoroughbreds jumped on board, they get some money in the bank, celebrations all around. But unfortunately, the big fella dropped it. And Jackson Purdue, holy fuck, that kid is fast. Picks it up and just full-length try. Even Reece couldn't catch him. And, that was a pretty good foot race too. And I think Reece gave up probably about 10 metres too early, but I think he probably knew that he wasn't catching him. So
he had the ankle tap or nothing.
Yeah, exactly right. So, unfortunately, he didn't do it. And, Jackson Purdue scored a try. And that kick was not converted to 26-16. And that was basically full time. 13 plus fucked for the second week in a row for me. Overall, just sloppy game, I think. There was too many errors. You touched on it before, Britto, 10 and 13, 23 errors in a game. It's too many. the big fella, he had another shocker. We'll probably touch on that a little bit later. And yeah, if you are into SuperCoach, it would suck to be the bloke that captained Cleary and had Walsh as his vice captain, which was me. So yeah, let's hope that the Dolphins game this week is going to be a little bit better.
Mate, mate, well said. That Renault third highest, right? Imagine being the recruitment agency at the South Rabbitohs watching that game.
Yeah.
Just like, what the fuck have we done?
Yep.
Like, I know he
he's
didn't.
too old. Like 3 years ago, he's too
yeah,
old.
yeah, we'll give you a 1-year contract. You'll be gone then.
Yep.
Righto, mate. Righto.
Yep.
Fucking hell. But anyway, you learn swings and roundabouts and all that sort of shit. They've got
That's it, mate.
they've got a Humphreys now. So what do they give a fuck about?
Yeah.
Ringer, mate. You want to give us your take? What did you see?
I love that rundown, Belangers. Get the play-by-play. But I have to agree. The first, I was impressed with our defense early. Like, even though we're under the pump, and I was not happy about being under the pump from a team that is the Cowboys, that aren't exactly lighting up the world at the moment. But we didn't let them in, and I was really pleased with that. Even, I think that was really important for our season, that we didn't let the bloody Cowboys, who hardly looked like it'd score a point in the first 2 rounds, get it over the top of us. So I was happy with that defensive outfit. I think we looked really comfortable on our line, which is good. It's good moving forward that is something that we should be good at, is that, backing our defense on the line looks really comfortable for us. I agree with Langers, though. With a team like the Cows and with how our defense was going, boot the fuck out of it. Down the fucking, like, we don't need to get the ball back. We need to dominate them in defense. And, the team that they were throwing nothing at us, we could have got the ball back on the bloody 30 if we had put a good defensive set in. So I agree with Langers. No more of this short dropout shit unless we need to win a game. Like,
Yeah.
Then pull it out, because I think we can back our boys to defend pretty well when we got our line set like that. We did miss those 2 tries from those kicks, right? And that, it pays to something I'm going to say in a minute, but that could have changed the whole turn of the game. Like that kick from Hunty, he had a mile of space to put it into, and he did put it a little bit sideline. Like, there was an acre there. Like, no one was back there, so he could have just dinked it a bit further infield, and either of the 2 outside backs would have got there first. But that one slipped over the sideline, and then the other one where they end up getting it back from it hitting the post, like, that was, yeah, exactly like you said. It comes back to patience, and that's what I had written down here. Patience is once again our biggest weakness. Like, we get into positions and we think, okay, it's tackle 2. We'll go put someone over in the corner, or we'll dink it in behind them, and that's all fair enough. Like with the Gajowski's try, that come off early. But I mean, how many times in a game are we really and truly expecting to be doing that in the NRL now? Like, when you look at what tries we scored later on in the game, where we did just beat them in the middle, compress the defensive line, wear them the fuck out from tackling our absolute gun forward pack, and then Payne strolls through between the markers and a defender, and then Brees throws a bloody rainbow pass to Jesse Arthurs, who goes over with not anyone near him, just from building that pressure. And we didn't seem to do that. Like, we know it works. We seem to say this every week. We know we can do that. All we have to do is hold the pill, compress their defense, because they have a real battle tackling Payne and Paddy close to the line. Like, they've got, well, Payne especially. If you haven't got 4 in there, he's either offloading or he's getting fucking close. You follow that up with Paddy coming off the back of it, mate, there's space all around the bloody outside there. So I think that's our really biggest issue that we have at the moment, is that we just want to score a try as soon as we get in the 20. We're like, right, okay, now we're going to do it right now. Instead of like Melbourne and Penrith don't do that. Penrith set to the middle, to get themselves some space and then run their superior bloody plays at you, and then you can't stop it. And no one could stop ours if we did the same thing. And I think we're going to touch on it later, I know, but I think that's what puts Reece in worse positions than he needs to be, is that a couple of times there with his errors, it's tackle 2. We haven't put any defensive pressure on their opposition. Surely it's not him calling for a big sweeping backline play. Like, we've got 2 of the oldest and most experienced halves in the game that should be saying, no, I don't, even if he is calling it, they should be going, no, bro, we're going to bash this up the middle a little bit more, and then I'll put you in some space. Because twice there, they throw a backline movement, but the defense was still in its shape. So whoever was marking Reece was in his face as he's catching the ball, and he's trying to make a split-second decision. So I think that's something that they need to look at, is that those 2 older playmakers really need to take control and just settle that shit down and go, no, we're going to play the patience game here. If we come out of it with a set restart, so be it. Like, make them do the short dropouts and shit. But there, anyway, moving on. Payne was incredible. I think that's really, it goes without saying. He's godlike. I think he's cementing himself as the best prop ever. And that try was because we went 1, 2, 3 up the middle, and I think it was Kobe got a really good quick play of the ball, like half done that little Kobe shit where he half gets between defenders, gets a quick play of the ball, and Payne just comes out of a bloody shotgun, and like they just could not handle it. So I think that's something we need to just remember, that we can do that to teams, and that it wasn't as if it was like dummies, like whoever was in mark, I can't remember, but you had Reuben Cotter and Jesse McLean were the 2 defenders that didn't tie up to get him. So it's not as if he was running at mugs. Like, they just couldn't get there because we really wore him out. So I think that's something we really need to get back to, is that knowing and believing that we do have some of the best props and middle forwards in the game, and using that to our advantage, and then just letting our Ferraris be Ferraris, and, not putting the pressure on them too early. But, mate, great game. Great to get, it was still an entertaining game. Like, with all the errors and all the bullshit, there was still an entertaining game to watch, and it's great to get another win over the Cows. I don't care if we beat them by 1, even if we play like dog shit. It's just good to get a win over the Cows. And, all props to next week, I think.
Yeah, that's it. I do wonder, like, after hearing you boys talk there, I do wonder if Madge is quite happy to let the Ferraris just take them for a whirl. Like, it doesn't matter if it's on or not. Like, is he looking that he still wants to play that Broncos style football? Like, we can defend, all right. We know we can defend. And he's really nailing in on that. But then at the same time, is he like, look, just try it, because by the end of the season, that shit should be sticking. And who can defend it? Like, it doesn't seem like, with Madge at the helm, it doesn't seem like something that Madge would be happy with unless it's on purpose, if that makes sense. So anyway, it's very interesting to see how it's going to play. I mean, we do have some would say we have a relatively soft draw. We have a lot of home games to start the season. Maybe the plan was we can bank points. So we'll get out there and we'll have a look, and we'll see if we can get this stuff in sync before we get to the harder teams. If not, we'll go back to that basic footy, like you said, Kobe getting to his front, getting the markers offside, Payne, you just run it through. That was a glorious scene too, by the way. I love seeing a big man stride out.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. He's so fun.
I tell you what, I'm glad Scotty Drinkwater was probably glad that he wasn't in position too, because fuck that. That'd be as much effort as what Raviola put on in the Rabbits game to stop Trindle. So we move on to man of the match, and I'll do mine first because I want to talk about the Thoroughbreds man of the match after this. So my man of the match was Adam Reynolds. We've already heard him getting spoken about during Langer's breakdown there, and a little bit in Ringers. So he ended up with 1 try, 100% conversion rate, including the penalty kick, for 14 points. He did 8 runs, 1 line break assist, 1 try assist, 29 tackles, 0 missed. 0 ineffective, 100% tackle efficiency, 481 kicking meters, and a clean sheet of errors. So a proper captain's knock, and well done on the little general. I feel like that win, he was very, I guess he was like orchestrated the whole thing, you could say. Now, the Thoroughbreds came through with a few different names. It was great, Thoroughbreds. I love the interaction. Please keep sending them through. We'll have a graphic this week that you can specifically comment on after the game. A little bit of a vote going on. But you got to be following the page because it'll only be on our story, on Facebook and Instagram. But one name that they always started with, and it was never like, oh, Reynolds, Arthurs, and then this person. It was always this person, but if I don't get to choose him, it's these two, and that was Payne Haas. So his stats were 1 try, 23 runs for 210 meters. That was only bested by a winger in Purdue, with his couple of line breaks that he had in that try. 69 post-contact meters, 2 line breaks, 1 line break assist, 9 tackle breaks, 5 offloads, 36 tackles, 1 missed, 1 ineffective for 92.3%. 1 penalty that he gave away, but other than that, 0 errors. Now, I might be sounding hyperbolic here, but is it too early to say that he's the greatest to ever do it? And before everyone comes at me in the comments about what are you talking about, Andrew Johns, Darren Lockyer, the King, all that sort of stuff, I'm saying we compare a footballer to a footballer, not a 7 to a front rower or a fullback to a front rower. We're just comparing the human and what he contributes to the game, both on the field and off the field. So I'll just go through a bit of his stuff here and to put it in perspective. And I know keeping this in realistically, he needs a premiership to really tie that bow on the GOAT status, I guess you could say. But off the field, he's currently got both his biological parents in jail. One for vehicular manslaughter, where 3 people died on the Gold Coast. The other is facing potentially the death penalty in Indonesia for smuggling drugs through, I think it was clay tiles or some shit. His brother, who became a quadriplegic while his mother was still pregnant with him, with Payne, died in 2020 at the age of 21. So he's had that going on in his life. He has custody of his 2 school-aged brothers while looking after his own daughter, right? He found out that his dad had been arrested and what he'd been arrested for. So it's a pretty obvious. You get caught with drugs in Indonesia, death penalty straight away. Like that always is the case. You don't need to do much research to figure that out. He found that out as he was about to catch the team bus to go and play Manly at Magic Round. And in that game, he made a charge in the 76th minute to set Jock Madden up in great position to kick the winning field goal. With that on his mind. But fuck off. I can't do that shit at my normal job if that was the case. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and you've got an entire sport where people love to shit can the players in the off season. Like, oh, I wonder what, antics are going to go on the off season. And you've got this bloke. I know he's had his own issues at the start. Young player. I think what did he do? He abused some coppers or something like that. And he brought the game into disrepute, got a 3-match ban, some fines or whatever. But we've all seen that in the young players. We all talk about it. But the way that he's evolved to what he's doing is just ridiculous. And I can only imagine the only reason that Payne Haas isn't being used as the poster boy for the NRL is because Payne has said no. Like, you've got your Reece Walsh. You've even got like your Savages from the Raiders. You've got a lot of other people out there that are hot to trot, bring the fans in. They're huge. But then you've got Payne Haas scoring tries like that on the weekend. Like, that's very Reece Walsh to score a try like that. And he's a big dude. And now on the field, so I believe he's won 3 New South Wales series. So he's got 2 to go to level with Andrew Johns, who is potentially the greatest Blues player to ever do it. He debuted as an 18-year-old in 2018. Since then, he's played 121 games. He's had 499 tackle breaks, which averages out to be 4 a game. He runs at 70.5 meters post-contact meters on average per game. He's over 8.5 kilometers for post contact meters. He's made 4,006 tackles and he has missed 104 of them, with an efficiency of 97.47% in 121 games. He averages 168 running meters per game. And he's done that through the darkest ages of the Broncos' lifespan, where we got a wooden spoon. So I've said it before and I'll say it again. We owe this man a premiership. And I feel like it just needs to be really put out there what he's going through and what kind of person he is, and celebrated. But yeah, I honestly think that, like, we're obviously blessed to be alive to see him play. And to be the age that we are. Like, there'll be kids, I remember Payne Haas and whatever, but us at our age really understand what's going on and whatnot. Our grandkids will be like, oh, what was it like to see Payne Haas run around and have flashbacks and shit? But but yeah, well done, Payne. The Thoroughbreds man of the match, they all love you. They identify, greatness and whatnot. But let us know, Thoroughbreds, what you think. Is he the GOAT? Am I being hyperbolic? I'll keep saying it regardless. That's just, my opinion, I guess. But yeah, either of you lads got anything to add to that?
Greatest of all time. Oof. I don't know if I can go down that path yet. And like you said, if he gets 2 premierships under his belt and he keeps doing what he does at rep level, at bloody State of Origin, and then he has to be. I keep GOAT status for me, for players, and I understand, like you say, though, player for player, like, you're not comparing, you've just a footballer to a footballer, you're not talking about all the other shit.
Yeah.
With what he does off the field, like you said, how he's got through that shit and what he actually puts on the park week in, week out, he never has a bad game. I've never seen a game where you go, oh, Payne looks a bit off. Like, never. But, I've got Cam Smith, Darren Lockyer, Johns as, like, just because of the game management stuff that comes with being in those positions, like coming to a plan and having to execute it and whatnot. But for actual impact, mate, if he's not in the top 5, 8 players ever, even that's now, like you said, without a premiership.
Yeah.
Like, there is not a team that would not pay whatever he wanted to get him in their roster at the moment. He's that big. He's probably the only prop that would command bloody fullback and halfback money to go to another club just because of the way he plays. So, mate, I don't think you're being too hyperbolic. He's not in mine yet, but don't worry. He has a career like, a length of career like those other fellas. He's got to be up.
Yeah. What about you, Langers, mate? Thoughts?
Yeah, I'm with Jack on that one, mate. Just particularly because Scotty Minto played, mate. So he's the best. No. No, look, I agree with what both of you have said. But, when you've got Johns, Alfie, Lockyer, Meninga, Slater, Smith, even Gronk, and then you got the King as well, like you listen to all the interviews of the past players that played with the King, and they all get asked the question, who was the best footy player that you ever played against? And they all say him. They all say it. So the man is the King for the reason, so I think you're not wrong where you're coming from. And, like, let's be real. If you asked me that question and Payne was in the room, I'd say Payne, because I'm not saying no when that big boy is anywhere near me. So, no, I do think that he does need to have a premiership under his belt. Hopefully he can get one at the Broncos. But no, I think he's definitely on the right track. I would imagine when he does hang up the boots that he will be in Immortal sort of contention. Absolutely. I think there would be a moron to not include him in that conversation. So, no, like, I think if the big fella just keeps going the way that he's going on the, trajectory that he is on, then yeah, like, we can definitely, there'll be definitely a bit more weight behind that chat sort of thing. But probably at the moment, not just yet, but it's definitely not a no. if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, if he
and there's a chance.
Mate, I just want to get in early so I can say I was the first one to say it. But
Well, yeah, hey,
yeah,
good chat. Clip
I reckon he's on a trajectory to just hit that. Like if we figure it out and we get it right and we go, like, let's say we go on a Panther-like run, like seriously, and we end up with 3 or 4 in the next 5 years or whatever, and you could just look at Payne's stats and just be like, righto. And he wins a couple of more series of New South Wales, does a little bit of international work there. Like you're like, and the impact that he brings, like Smithy brought that game management, Gronk the same, all that. And you're not going to get that from Payne because that's not his job. But what you are going to get, you're going to get 100% a front row. What you're going to get him doing his job to an absolute T. And so that's where I'm sort of coming from when you compare, like I said, football to footballer. So, but
and mate, in saying what I'm saying about not, probably not GOAT for me at the moment, he is the best forward to ever play the game.
Oh,
like we can put that to bed.
Yeah,
I think.
you can sink that.
They throw Lazo and Bradley Clyde and Webke, and but and it's hard to compare eras. But what this fella's doing, I don't think there's going to be any argument very soon that he's the best forward to ever play the game.
Yeah,
taking out Smithy.
Yeah, I've heard people describing as a generational player, and I think he's one step above that. I don't think he's generational. I think he'll cross generate, like he'll just go on forever. His legacy.
He has to be immortal.
Yeah. So anyway, let us know what you think, Thoroughbreds. It's a little bit of chat for your water cooler on a Monday.
Yep.
We'll move on to the players now. We'll go through the roster. See what we all think about that. Straight off the bat, we've got the highest statistics there though. Jordan Ricky topped our tackle count at 43. It was only bested by Reece Robson, who did 44. So, and I'm loving seeing that from Ricky. The workload has gone through the roof compared to last year. Love it. Last 210 meters. Like I said, only bested by Purdue on the other side. I believe, no, I don't have his numbers here, but I think it was like 220 odd or something that he got him. Most line breaks went to Arthurs and Haas. They were the highest for both teams. Renault, most points, 14. Most post-contact meters, Payne Haas again, 69. Most runs. Now, this is good chat. Walsh, 23 runs he did, along with Haas again, 23. So it was great to see Walshy up there with the work rate. Most offloads, Haas, and then most tackle breaks, Haas again. And that was the most of the game, the offloads and the tackle. No other person got close. So we'll do the backline first. We've got Reece Walsh, Selwyn Cobbo, Dean Mariner, Gamat Sibataki, and Jesse Arthurs there. Were, in terms of the team's performance, they topped the runs. All runs, they had 80. The most post-contact meters of 215. They had the most line breaks of 3. And unfortunately, they made the most errors and the only errors, which was 10. And we're not talking about penalties here, ruck infringements, whatever. We're talking about purely clean errors. They made 10 as a whole, and Reece made 5 of those. I'll throw it to you, Ringer, mate, because I know you got a couple of notes there on our boy Reece.
Mate, I do. And, we said we'll give him the chance after the Raiders game to, mate, this is what we think. Just pull errors back and do your job and you'll be fine. And there are elements to his game where he was way better than the Raiders game. I thought his defense was, and his organisation and whatever was obviously 10 times better because our line seemed to be a lot better. His defense, personally, you seem to get involved a lot more. I think that when he did have time, he did look more comfortable. Like that 40-20, mate, was incredible. But sometimes he just needs to take the tackle. He just needs to die with the ball, let the play end there, get up and play it, and let him go again. Like, I think someone just needs to get to him is that, mate, you know, you are our Ferrari, right? You're the Broncos Ferrari, but sometimes we just need an old bloody Army Willys Jeep. Just no bells, no frills, no unnecessary shit on it. We just want to get from A to B.
Yeah.
And, you know, like go down the Autobahn when the Autobahn is open. You know, if you got to go over some rough terrain, you're not going to be driving a fucking Ferrari. So just calm down with that shit. And once again, I put a lot of that back down to our older ball playing halves that should be positioning him better. And if he is the one calling the shots, they need to cut that shit out right now. They need to take control and say, no, we're going to just bash it here and then put you in a better position later. Because when he did get in better position, things happen. Like that beautiful pass to Arthur's was just chef's kiss, perfect. And even the one to Mariner, where Purduce ended up scoring that try, I think, you know, that was definitely on. And I don't think it was his fault that played out the way it did. Like that was another movement that we would have had a great 13+ win for us. But, you know, it's just unnecessary for all of those plays to lead to points. And that's what it looks like at the moment, is that every time he gets the ball in his hands, he is trying to score us a try. And I don't know whether that is pressure he's putting on himself, whether that's stuff like it's fart sniffy shit that he's like, oh, I can do this at will, if you know what I mean. Like, and it's good to be confident, but you need to be confident, but know when the time is to pull the trigger on that shit. Like, it just comes back to my biggest bugbear with the Broncos at the moment. It's just patience. Okay, we know you can do it, mate. We know you can be the best player in the game. We understand that. You don't have to do it on play 2 when we're running a fucking simple backline movement. Okay, sometimes we just need you to die with the ball and be a Willys Jeep, not a fucking Ferrari. But in saying that, you know, I'm not going to shitbag him all the time. I think that there was a lot better involvement. I thought that was one part of his game that I really was impressed with, that he was going to take some of the shitty runs from out, you know, from when we're coming out of the shit, you know, and it was that sort of stuff where you thought, oh, okay, he might be on tonight, and then those errors creep in again. So it's the same thing. I'll wear 3 errors from Reese. I don't think I can wear 5. Like, and moving forward, mate, I just think those old halves need to take control and just give him the ball when the position it's on. Like, don't just throw it to him and say, oh, well, if he makes a mistake, he'll make it, because that just creates bad habits that we don't want when we get into a shit fight later on down the track. So, you know, he deserves criticism. I'll give the thoroughbreds that. And, like, don't worry, I was screaming at him during the game. But I think that there is some positives there that did shine through. That I think we're so close to having a Reese that is unstoppable for us. It's right there. We just need to, you know, a couple of things to go our way, and we know we got that. Even Renault's try, you know, when Renault scored that try, he threw the dummy. Reese was screaming on the inside because he had an acre of space. Like, he was in the perfect position. If Renault dumped it back inside, he gets a try.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some good things there. There's a lot of bad. He just needs to pull those errors out. I think he'll come good. As for the rest of our backs, mate, I think they rolled their sleeves up. I think Cobbo maybe could have, you know, I think he needs to trust Dean a little bit more. That one try that Murray Talangi scored around the outside of him, he was really hanging back, trying to help Mariner when we already had inside out coming. Like, if he leaves early and Mariner has trouble with him, we've got Reese coming across. So I'd like to see him sort of back his inside man and cover. He should have been covering Murray, because he is the danger in that team. But yeah, mate. Other than that, I think, yeah, they rubbed 50% of those errors out. We put 40 on them. So
yeah, 100%. And that bloody, like you said, Staggs comes back next week. So hopefully that trust in his inside man there will be back. He obviously knows Katoni quite well, as compared to Dean. It's heating up to see who gets named at that other centre spot. Team list Tuesdays, so that's going to be real good. Langers, mate, what are your thoughts there? Have you got any opinion on any of the back line there?
Yeah, I agree with the ringer about the whole patience thing. It sort of does look like that every time Reece does get the ball, he needs to score. Like obviously the desire to score is definitely there, and that's obviously what you want with a playmaker and a Ferrari like Reece. But yeah, I think if the man just sort of develops a bit more patience in his game and just like what the ringer said, just take the tackle when you need to. You don't need to be trying to throw a pass on when a pass isn't there, or kicking down the short side on the fifth when there's 4 defenders already there. I think you rub that sort of shit out, and yeah, we beat them by +13, no dramas, sort of thing. So one of my workmates said a little saying, and I think it's true. Reece is rocks and diamonds. And everybody loves the diamonds when they're all flashy and they're being handed out, and then once the rocks start coming in, then people call for him to be dropped and sacked and all that sort of stuff after a couple of bad games. And I did say that in a previous episode that his errors are going to stop him from being in that sort of best fullback of all time sort of conversation. Like if you rub out those errors and he becomes like a James Tedesco, the bloke just does his job week in, week out. He's solid. And then you still have that lightning speed and those sort of plays that Reece can do, then like we're going to be unstoppable sort of thing. But 9 errors in 2 games, like it's not good enough, as far as, a lot of people are concerned. And, the chat during the week after the Raiders game, like a lot of thoroughbreds said to drop him back to the Q Cup. And look, I think it's for the wrong reasons that they wanted him to drop back to Q Cup, but on a plus side of things, if that's what you can call it, you look at the centers and the wingers, you got Cobbo, Mariner, Shibasaki, and Arthurs, who are all doing their jobs, and as you said, Britto, like Staggs is coming back, and if he's fully fit, that bloke is definitely making the team because he's fucking Katoni Staggs. Like he's definitely making the team. So someone that is doing well has to sit out. So, like if Walsh is still going bad, if that's the word that you want to call it, then, like it wouldn't be the worst idea to maybe throw a Cobbo or even potentially Arthur's back into fullback, then Mariner out to the wing to replace whoever goes back to fullback, keep Mariner or keep, Shibasaki in the team and bring in Katoni as your center. That is still a solid backline. Like that 1 to 5, that's still a potentially premiership winning backline without our $1 million player. So if, confidence, I feel like Reece is a bit of a confidence player. I think he does get down in the dumps when he does start making errors, and that can potentially lead to him making more. So, it might not be the worst shout to just throw him back to Q Cup for a game or two if the sort of situation permits it. Let the boy absolutely just run rough in Q Cup, score 300 points in a game, get the confidence back in the lad, and then he can just come back in absolutely firing like we have all seen and know that the bloke can do. It is an option. I'm not saying it's the option that we need to do. Obviously, it's the 3rd game of the season, if you're not including trials, but, like it's the 3rd game. So I think it is an unfair call to be like, well, you're shit, you need to go. And it's because you're shit that you're going. I don't think that should be the chat at all. If he does go to Q Cup, then I think it does need to be, well, because we've got fucking depth in our team and he can go back and sort of work on his routine, trial a few things out, in the Q Cup and get some confidence back, score 300 points and then come back absolutely firing. So, yeah, like hopefully he's just sort of ironing out the kinks sort of thing. And, when he faces the Dolphins this weekend, then, he's going to absolutely light it up like we all want him to. But, yeah, I still think that 9 errors in 2 games, it's not good enough, and those sort of things is what's going to stop us from scoring 40 plus points sort of thing. So iron that shit out, and we'll be fucking smoking every team.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you look at, I put us up there with the likes of the Storm, Panthers, and the Sharkies, right? Look what the Sharks just did to the Rabbitohs. They just dismantled them. And we should be exactly the same to a team like the Cowboys, I feel. So it'll be interesting to see how we go with the Dolphins there. I won't touch on Reese. You guys have covered that 100%. He was tackling at 80%. That tackle that he did on Purdue, the one-on-one after he made that break early on, I was like fucking over the moon when I seen that, because I was like, right, he could be on one here. Jack, did you say that you heard Ricky give Cobbo a bit of a spray on the hot mic there?
Yeah, that was early on. That was after Purdue's second. Where he sort of, it was just when they were coming out of their own end and they scooted down the blind side.
Ran around him, yeah.
Yeah, and Selwyn was like, I don't know, not awake, or God only knows what he was doing. And they had to do a bit of cover, and Ricky ended up being in the tackle, and he gives Selwyn an absolute bake twice. So as he was running back to, as he went around Selwyn, I think Ricky said, fucking wake up, cunt, or something like that. And then as he was getting up out of marker, I seen him turn around and give him an absolute bake again about like fucking wake up, or whatever he said. And it worked, because it didn't happen again. So but it I sort of love that to a degree, though, that that sort of shit's happening, where it's like, no, this is the standard fucking wake up. We're not putting up with this shit. So,
mate, that's it.
And it was warranted. It was definitely warranted, because it was like, how come they making meters up the blind side on tackle 2 when they're coming out of the fucking own end? Like, that shouldn't be happening.
That's it. And for anyone who's shocked about it, I mean, that's their work office. That's their day-to-day. That's what makes the bills come in. So they take it as serious as what anybody would out on the work side or in the office. The other thing I got here, Gamat Sibasaki, I feel like he's going to win this race between him and Mariner. I know some of the thoroughbreds pointed out he's got a couple of errors in him and whatnot, but he had a great run early to get us out of trouble. He caught the ball in goal and got out. And then we ended up, instead of doing a set restart and kicking a short field goal, drop out to please Langers. Yeah, he got it out, and we ended up punching out from there and getting a kick away. So that sort of stuff, I feel like he's just edging himself closer to that jersey once Staggs come back. So
he's so consistent, isn't he? Like he hasn't done it where you're like, he definitely not going to have it. So it'd be pretty, from what I've seen anyway, it would be harsh to drop him if that's who you pick to be start there. So
and like don't get me wrong, Mariner hasn't exactly shit the bed either. No. So what a world to be in. Imagine being the poor bastard back in Q Cup waiting to see whoever gets dropped back down. Fuck me.
Imagine playing them.
Oh, mate.
Going brick all day and then getting fucking Subasaki to smoke you on the weekend. Thankfully.
Anyway, just to close the back line out, as a whole, they were tackling at 89.4% efficiency, which is really good to see. All right, we'll move on to the halves and the hooker role. So obviously we've got Ben Hunt, Adam Reynolds, Corey Pakes there. Now, this is where the majority of our points came from, because Renault's in there. But they also got a couple of tries to set. Now, this is 2 weeks in a row where we haven't seen much running from Pakesy. And I didn't go back and have a look at the first game, because I want to ignore the first game, because it was a blowout. So shit happens in there that doesn't normally happen in these tight games. And just lightly before, I should have touched on it before, the Cowboys always get up for a derby. So that's probably why we've seen a more grindier game than what we were expecting.
And Lolo was back. He was good.
And he was actually playing really well. He couldn't quite get the Payne at the end there. He's a bit too wide for it. But it looks like Pakesy looks like that's on purpose now. If there's nothing doing, and this is what probably sets him above Walters getting that starting spot. If there is nothing doing, he will just serve pill. and that's it. He made what have I got here? He did 2 runs for 3 post contact meters. So yeah, and his service is great. He's given the ball to whoever's calling it. I love it from him. And solid defense. He went 41 tackles, 0 missed, 1 ineffective. So just an absolute workhorse there. What else have we got here? No errors from the halves and the hooker as well, which was pleasing to see. But yeah, that's basically me. Kick meters 797 in total. 149 came from Hunt, 481 came from Reynolds, and 166 came from Walsh. And Walsh's was probably from 2 kicks, the way that he was smacking them.
Yeah.
But yeah, Langers, mate, have you got any chat on the halves there?
No, not overly. I would like to see Hunt and Reynolds maybe click just that little bit more. It sort of seems like maybe they aren't. I did see Reynolds get a bit of a spray on him when he did that grubber on the first into the uprights. I saw Paddock Harrigan just absolutely just rip him a new one as well. So it's good to see that everybody in the team feels confident enough to just call the captain out when they think he's probably done the wrong play. So that's good to see. But no, like, with Pakesy, like I don't know, it is hard. Like I do think that he is better at just serving Pill when, like, compared to Walters. I feel like if there's nothing on, Walters will try and do a run himself and then fuck the entire play for everybody, sort of thing, as we saw multiple times last year. But sometimes that's what you need as well. So, but yeah, I think sort of Pakesy just doing his sort of job, hopefully just getting more confidence as the games sort of roll in. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens when Moser comes back, if he doesn't go to surgery and all that sort of stuff. If he does come back fit and firing, sort of what happens there. And then obviously you got the Mam sort of situation looming in a couple of months as well. So that's going to be a shake-up for the halves as well. So no, like it's still pretty good stats, like you see, like you've got Hunty, he was the only one that missed some tackles and he missed 5. But he's still got 93.2%, tackle efficiency, which is fucking great. Like if you're in the 90s, you're doing well. So, no, like I think it's I think they're all doing well, and hopefully they can just keep going better and better and better as the season progresses.
100%. What about you, Ringer, mate?
Yeah, mate. I think Hunty's missed tackles are an issue. Not an issue, but that's definitely something that teams are going to be chasing. Like and so hopefully, if Jack can sort his shit out and sort of tighten up that defense and be his bodyguard, then that's fine, because we're seeing what Ricky's doing for Renault on the other side. Like, he's bodyguarding the shit out of him, tackling like fucking a maniac. So
yeah,
with that side sorted, so I just want that hole to be plugged. With the Patesy situation, Renault obviously, he was good. That one kick on the first tackle was the only fuck up really for him the whole game. I thought he was very solid. Exactly what we want. But yeah, with the Pakesy situation, I think what we're seeing is it was definitely a preseason plan to have Pakes on Moser off the bench, because Pakes isn't taking those runs out of dummy half. He is just tackling the shit out of everyone, serving Pill, right? So I think all preseason, when Pakes impressed Madge, he thought, well, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to run like the old Maroons playbook, where Hunty and Harry Grant play that role, where Hunty gets through the work, does the dog work, and then Harry comes on and puts the flair in when everyone's a bit tired. I'm getting more and more confident that's why Pakesy got the run on, and why Moser hasn't gone for surgery. I think this has been a real big plan of theirs all preseason for their success, so they're going to try and stick to it. So I think when Moses is right, he walks back into that 14 role, and that's what he's going to be doing. He's going to be, and it works with the Payne rotations too. Like, they're giving Payne rest and getting him on when the forwards are tired. So I think what they're playing for down the track is Pacey comes off, Moser comes on back with a fresh Payne, and potentially a Willison or whoever comes on with him, and he starts lighting them up in the middle where he starts scooting, starts bloody, splitting the markers, and they fucking don't know what's going to happen, and then you got Payne steaming onto it one-on-one. So that's how I see it, because I love what Pacey's doing at the moment. Like 85 tackles, I think, in 2 weeks. Bloody hell, get him some fucking deep heat on those shoulders, bro, because he's doing really good things for us. They don't look like going through the middle of us, which is really impressive, I think. So, mate, I like it, and that's how I see it playing out in the future. And so that's definitely not what's going to happen.
Nah, I fucking love that chat. That makes so much fucking sense. That's so good. Well done, mate. All right, polish them boys off. Like Lang has said, 93.2% efficiency tackle. Take that to the bank every day of the week. All right, we'll get to the engine room now. Solid effort from these big boys. I am nervous for Guswalski, like you said, Ringer. I think for protection of Hunt, I think Brendan's going to get that jersey sooner rather than later. We'll see what happens this week with the shake-up with Stags and whatnot. There might be more than one. But anyway, we've got Carrigan, Haas, Goswalski, Ricky, and Hetherington. Would we get there? They combined for a total of 8 points, thanks to Haas and Goswalski. 63 runs all up, 189 post-contact meters. They 15 with tackle breaks, and that was tied with the backs, which is impressive. 6 offloads, 5 of them from Mr. Haas, and then 1 from Carrigan. But again, 0 efforts, 0 errors, just clean sheet. It was basically when I watched it. I think when I look at the stats so far on the NRL app, from Pakesy down was a completely clean sheet. So solid effort there, and they topped the tackle efficiency at 94.2. They got through 146 tackles, 7 missed and 2 ineffective. So absolutely working their dicks off in the middle there. It's great to see. Any chat on that, Ringer, mate?
Yeah, mate. No, I reckon brilliant by the forwards here. I'm really impressed with Jordan. He's really coming back to that premiership losing, but premiership game year for me. He's a machine in defence, isn't he? He works so hard on that edge. He's safe as houses. Like it says, he's got 4 misses, but in those situations, like he gets put in situations where he's covering sometimes and slides off. Like he's hardly ineffective. I will go to Jack. I don't want to shitbag him too much, but I mean, like he only had to make 15 tackles in this game. So I don't know why the Cowboys didn't sort of send more traffic that way after what happened to the Raiders game. But 15 tackles for 3 misses, I've got on my stat sheet here. So, 20% of your tackles you're missing as a second rower. I just can't. It's not good enough, I don't think. Like, Brendan missed two, I suppose, but I mean, he's coming off the bench, isn't he? So, I just think that's one area we can't have 2 people, Benny and Jack, missing that many tackles when they defend beside each other, because God forbid when we get to the Storm, Panthers, Manly, whoever who can execute a game plan, you just know that's where they're going to be going every single time they get a chance to do it. So, that's just one area I want them to stitch up. But other than that, I think our forwards will go. Like, I like Kobe again, mate. Kobe's not going to light the world on fire, but he does his fucking job. He snaps some poor bastard. I can't remember who it was, but he gets under the ribs of some poor creature every time, doesn't he? Every game, you can back him in for a bloody highlightable shot. And he once again, he can, when the fences are tired, he's just got that dog in him that he has that no quit, and he just pokes through enough to get that quick play of the ball that gets us on the front foot. So, yeah, if he keeps doing that, mate, he can have that jersey forever.
Yeah.
I think Paddy had 28 tackles, no misses. Like, he just does what he does, isn't he? He's the most consistent player that you could ever get. No, really happy with what the forwards did, mate. I just want that one little hole to be closed.
Yeah, that's it. What about you, Langers, mate?
I'm the exact same with the ringer, mate. Like you look at the stats from the big fellas, and it's just ticks all round, nearly. But yeah, like what the ringer said, and it is an issue. You got Hunt and Goswalski. You know that's going to be a highway for teams like the Storm, the Panthers, the Sharks, that they are going to identify. They probably already have identified it, and they're just going to be absolutely hammering it. And if they have this many missed tackles with them, then we're not winning that game. You know what I mean? So, but like our boy Pass, like Payne Haas and Pass, Pass, my boy
Love
Pass,
it. That's his name now.
that's him. That's it. We'll roll with it. You know, it just he's like, what do you say to the man? You know, like he's just an incredible athlete. His stats are just always phenomenal. You know, like, and you put him next to the other boys, and it's just like he's just leaps and bounds in front. And you know, he's got Carrigan as well, who is a tremendous player as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Jack maybe does have a little bit of a worry on his hands sort of thing. You know, like he had 4 runs, 5 post contacts, which is the lowest amount of runs, the lowest amount of post contacts, no line breaks, blah, blah, blah. Had a tackle break, which was good. And then, yeah, 15 tackles with 3 missed at, 20% miss, like what the ringer said. Like, it's probably not good enough to keep your jersey sort of thing. Piakora did miss 2 as well. He did 15, but that's also him coming off the bench as well. So, but apart from that, mate, like pretty fucking good. Pretty fucking good, you'd think.
Yeah, that's it. You are right. I mean, and the workload for me isn't good enough either. 5 runs, you need to be putting your hand up. I know it probably depends, depending on what side they're going down, I guess. But in saying that, he was on this, wasn't he? He was on the side where McIntyre was defending in the centre. So that was sort of mysterious about why we weren't attacking that side either.
And, like the 4 hit ups, like there was a fair few times when early in the game when we got pinned down in our end. Like he only made 15 bloody tackles. Sure, he couldn't have been that gap. Like get in and take some of them shit carries. Like I know you want your back 5 to take a few, but 4, get in there and take a couple more shitty hit ups to take some pressure off Payne and Paddy and Kobe from doing all the shit work. Like get in there and what are you contributing if you're going to miss that many tackles, but on the other hand you're not taking any fucking runs. So
especially when you got Selwyn, Skitland, front rowers.
Yeah.
You need to sort of up your game a little bit there.
There's got to be there's got to be some chances there when Winger's hitting it back up and you can get back and bloody take a couple of take a couple of meters for the boys. And
that's it. All right, that ties up the engine room, and we'll go to the bench now with Walters, Jensen, Willison, Piakura. Overall, pretty solid. 0 errors here as well. 88.4% tackle efficiency, so they were the lowest efficiency. Sure, whatever. They've also got like Walters in there mixed in. He didn't get through much, but he did miss a fair bit too. But Willison, I think I was actually pretty disappointed. Like he did some great things, don't get me wrong, but I feel like Willison might not be too happy with a game that he did. Just with the way that the optics went, with the errors, not the errors, sorry, just the breakdown in play, I guess, and where he could have been. He missed his mark a couple of times with a couple of set plays and whatnot. Missed 1 tackle there, so whatnot, but. He only got through 5 runs as well. I feel like he would be wanting to get through a lot more work rate than that. But other than that, I mean, Jensen just doing Jensen things. out there taking 11 hit-ups for the boys, 24 tackles, 3 miss. And then Pia Cora, just solid again. He did 10 runs, got through 15 tackles there, had 3 tackle breaks, which was pretty good there. I think, no, it might have been, I might be thinking about the heading tackle you brought up, I thought he folded Griffin Neem as well. That might have been Hetherington that gave him a good whack. So poor old Griff might have woke up a bit sore on Saturday morning. But yeah, what are you, Langers, mate, on the bench there?
If you're going to have, a group of players that are doing the worst, you want them to be on your bench, basically. And like 88.4 is still pretty good. That's tackle efficiency, sorry. That's still pretty good. Like, it's the lowest in the team, but it's still pretty good. 0 errors from any of them, which is always good to see. But yeah, I'll big X, 5 runs, 24 post contact, which isn't that bad. But yeah, 5 runs. Yeah, I don't think he probably would be too happy with his game as well. But, he does have youth on his side. So, he'll still be around for many a moon to come. They all did have some missed tackles. But, yeah, old Billy Walters, 3 tackles with 2 missed. Like, that's just, yep. We'll move on from that one. But, no, Corey Jensen just doing his job, like I'm glad he's in the team. He deserves to be in the team. But yeah, no, I think between Jack and Brendan, I think that'll be, a pretty good sort of battle. I don't know what happens. Like, do they just do a swap? You know what I mean? Like, does Jack just go to 17 if Brendan takes the run on spot? You know what I mean? Like, or, does Big Ben get a start? Does, Marty get a start? You know what I mean? Like, we've got depth. So, if Jack isn't performing, then give someone else a go. I think we've got the players, so let's use them, sort of thing. So, but no, I mean, yeah, you look at the stats and we did pretty good. Like, obviously, I think everybody was expecting us to just absolutely smoke an underperforming team like the Cowboys. Everybody's probably is aware that a derby sort of just brings the Cowboys to another level. And it was obviously disappointing to not have a big blowout that I think a lot of people were sort of tipping, expecting. But overall, like, there's not too many glaring sort of things that we drastically need to address. You know what I mean? So, no, it's good. And hopefully, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Team List Tuesday when Katoni comes back and potentially have a little bit of a shuffle. But yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see. That's for sure.
Yeah, sweet. What about you, Bringer, mate?
Yeah, mate. Poor old Billy. I hate shit counting him every week, but 26 minutes he was on the field for 1 hit up, I think.
Yeah.
And 3 tackles and 2 misses. Like, anyway, that's not good enough. So, yeah, I find that hard to believe in 26 minutes playing at hooker. You only managed to have a crack at 3 tackles. So maybe it was just when we were a bit more dominant. But, yeah, rest of them, good. I want to see a little bit more explosiveness from Big X, except he didn't make an error. So that was, that's what I called for last week, is just to keep hold on the ball. But, yeah, Brandon was good. Corey Jensen had a fucking point to prove, didn't he, against his old club?
He
He
certainly
was shot
did.
out of cannon that old for a few runs there. It was really good to see. He's hard to get down to when he got that mindset. So really love Corey. Like, he's another one that's just so crucial to our success, is having Corey come off the bench. And that's why I think, X needs to up his ante with his explosiveness, because at the moment we have Paddy and Payne. Their mirror images are Jensen and Willison. Like, you've got one that's consistent. You know what you're going to get in Corey. And then Xavier's got to take on that Payne role of that explosive, really skittle the bloody defense, try and get him on the back foot. So that way, I think, but X can do that. And I think just about to explode, mate. I think he's really about to start to stamp his authority on some games. Yeah, I think it's time to pull the band-aid off with Jack and Piakura. I think start Piakura. I just can't see what Jack offers at the moment. He did score the try and it was a set play. So, maybe there is that synergy that they have with the halves or something that they're sticking to. But I mean, he's not getting to enough work for me as our Broncos left edge second rower. So why not put Piakura on and big Marty or big Bentakura on the bench? You don't even have to play him with the way our rotation rolls. Like, just imagine having Big Bentakura there in the last 8 minutes of a half and just go, mate, I'm only going to give you this. I'm probably going to give you 16 minutes just to give someone a blow. Go and skittle some cunts.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't see, like, if Jack drops out, I just can't see him going on the bench because what does he offer? Because he's not running the ball enough to be saying, oh, well, at least he'll get in and do a shit ton of work because he's not doing that when he's at the run on. So, but pretty happy with the bench, mate. Just need Billy to clean those tackles up.
Yeah, yep. I'll back the shout of Piakura swapping clean swap with Swiselki. Langers, I reckon he could cover centre if a centre went down or something like that.
Yeah.
So he could serve his purpose there as a Mr. Fix-It man, but he does need to get through that work rate for sure.
I think just real quick, sorry, Britto.
Yeah, right.
I think with him going to 17, like he does offer sort of other roles that he can sort of slide into. But I think from my perspective, I'm a little worried that we're going to be burning out the big fellas by not having another big fella to sort of give them a rest by, mid-season towards the end of the season. Like Haas is or Pass, as we're calling him now, apparently. He's an absolute freak, but you don't want to burn a bloke like that out. At the end of the day, he does have a certain size tank, and while it is a lot bigger than the average human, there will be a point where he just goes, I can't do this anymore. He's only one dodgy tackle away to the knee or something like that. And then, you don't have that depth on the bench to really replace him. So, you swap Piakura and then you drop Jack to the Q Cup and then you put in like what, me and the Ringer just said, with Marty or Big Ben or someone like that. And you just give that other option for a big bopper to come through and just, take some of that work rate off the big fellas that are already on the field. So, but that's, like we said, it's a good headache to have for Madge with the amount of depth that we do have. So, yeah, got to wait a couple more days and we'll find out.
I'm just looking at the interchange here. So we only used 7 out of our allocated 8. Haas went off on the 53rd minute. So he played 53 minutes, obviously half time through there. He had 9-minute break. 8-minute break from what I can see. He came back on the 61st minute. So just enough to smash a Gatorade and fucking get back out there. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Team List Tuesday brings. All right, Thoroughbreds, that was basically a very long-winded way of saying that we should have won 44-16. But I look forward to the game against the Dolphins, the home game against the Dolphins at Suncorp Stadium. But we'll quickly just tie this up with the rivalries that we do have going on. One of them will come to an end this Tuesday, potentially the other one as well. But one of them will definitely come, and that's the Shibasaki v Mariner. Now, Shibasaki got Mariner in runs. He had more runs, more meters, more line breaks, more tackle breaks, and less errors in this game. So I'm going to put that one to Shibasaki. So at the moment, it's 2-1 going into Stags. Stags wasn't meant to come back till round 5. He's coming back 1 round earlier. So it'll be interesting to see what that runs around in. And as I said, Piakura, he got one over Gosowski there. He had more runs, more meters, more tackle breaks, and his tackle efficiency was higher as well. Goswowski did score the try, but I feel like if anyone was in that position, he was going to score that try. Or you would expect him to score that try, the same amount of efforts. I'll put that one. It's 2-1 to Piakura on that one. It's time for the Gronk. He's got a little bit to get off his chest after the game on the weekend. He's taking the loss well. It could always be worse, thoroughbreds. You could be going through what this man is going through. Big off season, all that sort of stuff, and to go 0-3 down would be fucking panic stations at Red Hill. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah.
But anyway, without further ado, here he is.
I don't know what's worse, losing your third derby in a row or losing your third derby in a row to a bunch of absolute flogs like you. Yous aren't that good. We were bad. We were a little bit better than before. A little bit more resolve. I only got to watch the second half, so I was surprised that you guys weren't pumping us by more. I mean, we had fucking Sam McIntyre defending at centre, and you scored, one try down that edge? That's not what top teams do, okay? So, oh well, at least our draw gets a bit better. We only run into fucking Canberra, Penrith, and then Latrell when he comes back, so. I think our new name's going to be Owen. Owen 6, 7, 8, 9. Fuck!
It's all happening there. Oh, there's a lot to unpack on that one. How sweaty did old boy look? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, big day.
Yeah, big day. Big day on the boxing bag.
Big bag. On the bag.
Bleeding knuckles. You can't see it in the video.
Oh shit! You got any words on that, on the Gronk's piece there, lads?
I think he's got one really hot point, is that we did not exploit McIntyre enough, which you would expect two very old-headed halves to do. But I think mainly that's because we, once again, dropped the ball when we but we need to do that sort of shit more often.
Yeah.
And, and it's, that's like you said, that's the edge where we had Jack's on that edge.
Yes.
Like we should be getting him running at, drawing in the prop that's playing at centre and getting him some space down that way. So, yeah, we did not do that well enough. Because, if it was Cherry Evans, Cleary, Jerome Hughes, that's all they would have done all night, is set that poor cunt up. So, yeah.
Oh, can you imagine fucking Garrick if we have a second rower defending at centre? Fucking, that'll keep me up at night. What about you, Langers, mate? Any chat there?
I just cannot disagree with that bloke. He puts me up every week, and I'm just like, yep. Like, yeah, if you tuned in at halftime, you were sort of expecting to see a bit of a cricket score. So it would have been a bit of a sort of surprise that it was 12-0 sort of thing. So, but yeah, no, there is a little bit of sort of trouble in Townsville for the Cowboys. And yeah, their run the next couple of weeks doesn't look that great for them. So yeah, sort of in the accountability in the previous sort of episodes, I did have them fighting for the spoon. So yeah, hopefully, as a Queenslander, you want them to do good, just not better than the Broncos, but you also don't really want them to get the spoon. But it's only round 3, but fuck, it's not looking good for them, that's for sure.
Yeah, I've fucking Toddy Payton round 6 could be nervous times if not a win. I don't think at the moment it would be a win. It would be just to play fucking better, just to compete, sort of thing. So anyway, we'll see.
That's their benchmark now. Like they really turned up way better than their first 2 games against us. So if they shit the bed in the next game and go back to what they were doing, there's something got to happen.
Yeah, you shouldn't need a derby as an excuse to turn up and have a go.
Yeah,
that's for sure. All right. We'll look forward to the week ahead here now, before we get into a bit other tipping and whatnot. But injuries, thankfully, we're still the same. We've got Fletcher Baker there nursing an MCL. Tony Staggs with that quad. That's going to come forward. I'd expect to see him, as per what Madge said, that he will run out against the Dolphins. And Blake Moses still nursing that shoulder. Judiciary, we've still got Ezra Mam sitting it out for 9 rounds there. Reese, like you said, Langer's at the top of the show, did get that shoulder charge. It is his second offence. So it's $3,000 fine with an early guilty plea or 2 matches if he wants to contest it and lose. So he's clear to play against the Dolphins. That whole fullback on the line thing, I feel like we see it every year at least once. And honestly, they need to come out with some animation to show us what the fuck they're supposed to do. Like, we go back to Scott Drinkwater when he broke Corey Oates' jaw, I suppose, at Suncorp, I think 2 years ago now. I know that stuff can happen, but again, even that wasn't intentional or anything like that. Like, it's a fullback on the line, other than a blatant, absolute clear, I'm going for your head with my shoulder sort of thing. But I would argue that Reese was going for the ball more than anything with that. But that's just me. You guys got any chat on that? Ringers, sorry.
Ringers, Langers.
One of you.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's got to be some grace there for fullbacks, because you're sort of asking them to put their shoulders and faces in terrible positions if they're trying to cover someone in the corner by going like that. I'm coming with my arms. Like, they've got to sort of dive in that position. And, you know, I think the Scotty Drinkwater one was a bit different because they were still upright.
Yeah.
Like, when they're both diving, like, it's pretty hard to try and, like, there's no attempt to wrap. It's like, yeah, he's going to put the ball down in the corner. Like, he's not trying to fucking textbook tackle him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I sort of feel pretty bad for fullbacks, anyone that gets this done to them, because you think, they're competitors. So what are they going to do? They're not going to let old mate just fucking score in the corner untouched. Like, I'd be more disappointed in Reese if he didn't do that than if he just, like, pulled out and just stepped over him in the corner. I would have been like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, So, yeah, I don't know. They're in a pretty hard position. And like you said, I'd love to see someone in the game that's making the rules go, this is how I expect you to get into this situation. So, yeah.
I feel, especially when the attacker can come in with their shoulder as well. Like, he's obviously going to come up with bumper bars and all sorts of shit to get to the line. So it's free for all, I reckon, on the line. What about you, Langers, mate?
Take your fucking head off.
No, it is a hard one, because like what the ringer said, you do that arm wrapping motion and you put your head, your shoulders, and your ribs just totally on the line. And, most of the fullbacks these days, they're not big boys. They're little whippy sort of units. And, you get a winger full steamroll and diving in, and then the fullback has to sort of wrap. It gets him in the ribs. That fullback is out for weeks with broken ribs, sort of thing. So it is a hard one. I'm probably a little bit of a different opinion with you, lads, where I did think that he did drop that shoulder. Like, he did not really go for the ball. I think he was more trying to bump Murray out of bounds, sort of thing, rather than going for the ball. But yeah, it is hard. Like, I don't think it is a situation where wrapping motion is the answer. It is definitely a bit of a grey area. And like what the ringer said, at least he still had a go. If he just pulled out and just ran over him or just didn't even try, then I think there'd be a lot more disappointed people than what ended up happening. Yeah, it's a bit of it's a grey area. So, it's a bit of a tough one. But, you sort of flip the script as well. And if Scotty Drinkwater did that to Jesse Arthurs, would you be of the same opinion, or would you be like, get the cut off the field?
Nah, send him.
What I mean? So,
I think what we need to clarify, though, is that if it's like shoulder to shoulder contact, that's fine. But if it's like, if it's shoulder to head, yeah, no, not good enough. Like, you can't, that's where you got to draw the line. Like, But if in those try-saving situations, if they sort of shoulder to shoulder to try and push them over the sideline, I think that's different than if they like just carelessly throw themselves at it and they do collect them in the head. So I think that's where they could sort of mold it a little bit more with their rules. Like treat it like, you know, if there's two players going for a ball on the ground, they can be shoulder to shoulder, and like they could fucking smoke each other if they wanted to, and if they had to get to that ball. So I think if they treated it like that, where if it's shoulder to shoulder, shoulder to ribs, whatever, in a try-scoring situation, it's a bit different to just a normal shoulder charge. But if there's any contact with the head, off the field, like you can't do that shit.
Duty of care stuff really is what.
Yeah,
like
proper.
you're not coming in sliding knees. You're not using your feet. All
Hey,
that
leave
sort
Billy out of this.
Yeah.
I was just about to say,
Ooh.
lead with your feet. It worked for Billy Slater.
Billy catching strays.
He saved the Origin game, so we'll leave it be.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, we'll move on from that. So this week coming up, we've got round 4 against the Dolphins at Suncorp Stadium, Friday the 28th at 7 p.m.
An away game.
Away game, Australian Eastern Standard Time. Dolphins are currently looking for a win with a close game against the Rabbitohs and 2 13-plus losses to the Knights and the Tigers. They'll be pretty desperate to grind out a win. I can't see them looking for a big blowout. I think they'll be just wanting to get the 2 points. So this could be our chance to do a grindy win as well, if we want to look at doing that, or we try and do them combinations to improve, let the Ferraris roll around and see what sticks. So we're coming off a bounce back win after stumbling against the Raiders. We still aren't putting teams to the sword though, as we've mentioned in the rest of the show, but I'm still staying calm on that. We pumped the Roosters round 1. They're notoriously slow starters, sure. We got beat by a very pumped up and well-disciplined Raiders team. And as we said last week, Thoroughbreds, it'd be very, very interesting to see if they can continue that. And they just got absolutely smoked at Brookvale. That's not anything new for Brookie, but still, they didn't do well against Manly there. Then we won against the Cowboys outfit, who have their own struggles, but they're always up to get against us. So we'll be interesting to see what mindset we have when we run out there at Suncorp as well. Gatoni's back, so I hope he gets to do the fucking, this is our fucking house sort of shit. Yeah. But anyway, head-to-head, we've played 4 games against the Dollies. We've won 3 of them. They've got us once. Our completion rate is a little bit better at 77% compared to their 74%. They are tackling a little bit better than us. Wins this season, 2 versus 0. And venue win rate, we're at 58%. They are at 50%. We last met them in round 26 in 2024, where they smoked us 40-6 in their little run that they had to try and make the 8. I think their next game was against the Knights, and they had to win that one to get through, but they bowed out. The possession there, obviously 58% their way. Completion was 78% their way. We went through that horror run where we were doing 70 and 60% completion. And their tackle efficiency was a lot better as well, but she's a little bit different this year without Wayne at the helm and whatnot. So their last win, and if you include preseason, their last win was the Cowboys in the first round of the preseason challenge, where they did quite well. But then it's kind of been all L's from there. Any chat on the upcoming game, guys? Is there anything that you're looking to see, or anything you want to look out for, Langers?
Obviously, like we've just sort of touched on a fair bit in this episode, is just Reece just obviously working on those errors and just, getting a little bit of patience, and maybe the old heads just calming him down a little bit. Like I think every single Broncos supporter wants to see less errors from Reece. So, yeah, hopefully he can work on that this week. And yeah, just 13 plus, mate. That's what I'm looking for.
Ringers, mate, what do you reckon? What are you looking for this weekend coming up?
Yeah, got to agree with Langers on that, mate. We straight down the barrel bullshit. I don't give a shit if Reece doesn't have one single try assist or a line break assist or a line break of his own, get through his work, complete, throw the passes that he needs to, don't throw them when he doesn't need to, and we will get away with this with a big win. What we have to be careful of is that the Dolphins did start very well against the Tigers. They look good, and Katoa is really coming into his own as a half, but we need to weather that storm, trust that we are the better team on the field, which we are, and go through our processes and beat the fuck out of them in the back end. Like, we should not be dicking around with this. Look at, they're gone 0-3. They got beaten by the Tigers and whatever. Like, we need to walk into this game going, if we get through if we complete at 85% and we have 90% tackle efficiency and we don't completely shit the bed, we should win this game. So that's what we should do. Just go and do that. So I think that's what they need to do. Yeah, take theirs out and yeah, we pump them, mate. We do. Just unfortunately, they're not on our level if we complete. So that's all I want to see. Patience, complete, and we pump them.
Yep. All right. Too easy.
And Tony back too, which I'm really fucking horny for.
Oh, so keen for that. Hopefully the big man is ready to go. All right, we'll move on to a bit of tipping now. See how we went on the comp and in the SuperCoach as well. Currently, we have Langers, mate, winning the tipping comp. Big effort. We had a follower, Kate1812, win this round with 7 out of 8. Now, that's a huge effort in the round that was. So, good stuff. Let's see if you can keep it up. I'd like to point out that I got the margin as well. Didn't get 7, I got 6. But I'm snipping at your heels, mate. Me and Kate are tied there for second now. So, expecting big things early on in the season here from myself.
Yeah.
With the SuperCoach comp, I've been hoping that this day would come. The elusive G-Spot is in the lead. Great team name, mate. Good job. Takes it by 12 points over myself, followed by Elisa's Echidnas. But yeah, like I said, been waiting all year to say that name, Graham. Apparently that's your name there, so well done, mate. Gronk and Ringer are in 5th and 6th, respectively, with Langers in danger of being caught by the podcast team, which, of course, is all Broncos. Mate, not the best weekend for you, so we'll see a couple of panic buys, no doubt, coming up.
And I had Ruben Garrick in my team too, so that's like even worse. But that's what happens when you put Cleary as your captain and Walsh as your vice-captain. Learn from me. It.
All right, we will get into our tipping now. I will rattle off the Gronks and then I'll throw to you, Langers, mate. He's gone. Panthers, Roosters, Broncos, Storm, Raiders. He's fucking given up on the Cows, I can tell you that much. Sharks, Manly, and he's gone the Tigers as well. So he's expecting big things at the back end of next week. But yeah, what about you, Langers, mate? How you going for this weekend?
I'm the exact same as the Gronk, mate.
Perfect. That makes things
Panthers,
so much easier.
Roosters, Broncos, Storm, Raiders, Sharks, Manly, Tigers.
Yeah, sweet. All right. Well, we'll move on to Ringer.
Righto, mate. Well, I've got Panthers by 40. I've got the Titans actually beating the Roosters. I've gone the Titans.
That'll be a good game, that one, I reckon.
I reckon it'll be a great game. Be very entertaining anyway. I just like when I've got a fucking soft spot for the Titans, mate. So I just want to see him do well more than anything. I fucking love Tino, so I just want him to have some success.
Real quick on Tino, how fucking good is it to see him in form with Payne Haas in the mood that he's in? Oh, holy shit, Origin is going to be a banger. We're going to need
Tino to be fucking going hard when we come to Origin time because holy fuck, they're going to be Titans coming together.
And Mo as well. Mo feeding it to Adam Elliott. Oof. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so Bronx, obviously, over the Dollies. Storm Dragons, which I think will be closer than people think because the fucking Storm were pretty shithouse against the Cleary-less bloody Panthers. I've got the Cows beating the Raiders.
Okay.
I reckon that I reckon the Broncos game for the Raiders was an outlier after what they fucking threw up today. Cows at home after a derby that they played pretty well in, so I'm going with the Cows. Sharks by 50, Sea Eagles by 50 after that terrible game between fucking Bulldogs and Parramatta today. That was awful to watch. And yeah, I'm going to go to Tigers, mate.
All right. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna go Panthers. I feel like the Sharks have exposed the Rabbits a little bit on the weekend. Jai Gray, shout out to Jai Gray, mate, absolute fucking demon, absolute competitor. Keep doing what you're doing. But Penrith, with the first back-to-back losses in a while, will be hunting for 2 points. So, like, I don't expect it to be a blowout, but it'll be a more of a controlled win, especially with Cleary out. I'd imagine they'd bring Schneider in for that, potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, I've got Panthers. I can't see them going back to back to back with the losses. I've gone the Roosters. Now, this is just throw shit at the wall and see what sticks kind of tip here. Like, I only go that because of the Titans' defense, but then they handled the Knights pretty well. They normally will outscore you, not keep you out, sort of thing. So anyway, we'll see what happens there. But I've gone the Roosters. Broncos 13 plus easy. Storm 13 plus easy. I can't see Bellamy letting that slide. What they did do, he'll be wanting them to set an example. Raiders. I don't know. I've gone Raiders because I just feel like there's more pain for the Cows to come. But it will be at home. It could be a wet track as well. We'll see. So that might lean more into the Raiders side of thing. Sharks. Nico is on one. Trindle is on in a mood. So yeah, I'm putting them down for a big one. Yeah. Sea Eagles. I can't see the Eels doing much until Moses gets back. So basically, if you've got the Eels coming up, just bank those points, move on. And the Wars, I feel like this is going to be painful for the Tigers. But the Tigers are the bookies' favourites. So take that as you will. If there might be a bit of dollar value in the Warriors there, but I feel like this might be the Tigers. This could be the game that sets them if they are going well. If they are going to make the 8, they need to probably win this one. But yeah, I think the Wires will get it done. Moving on to best bets. Not a great week for any of us. And it came to best. We've been humbled a little bit this weekend. But we'll go through the description again for the thoroughbreds that might be new here. So you got to tune in every Thursday on our socials. That'll be Facebook and Instagram. We can't do it on TikTok because they have community guidelines, apparently. You'll hear all of our best bets. So we put up a reel for each one. And then so basically our best bet is each week we'll pick a bet that we will think will hit for you guys to follow to get a bit of cash flow going on in through your accounts. They could be 3-leggers, they could be 6-leggers, they could be just singles. It's just where we see value. We combine them all for a Bronco bet, and then we throw that on. We have to put a $2 stake on it, or whatever stake returns us a minimum of $100. Usually they're pretty big sort of stakes, so $2 covers it. If we hit the Bronco bet, what we'll do is we'll do a giveaway per 100 returned. So that means if we win 100 to 200, we'll do one giveaway. If we win 200 plus, 2 giveaways, 300, you get the gist from there. The giveaway works out to be this. We'll send out the winner. So we'll pick a winner from a random generator on this show. So far, we haven't had to do it, so we haven't got an example. And then we're going to send out a $50 voucher of our choosing to you guys out of those winnings that we do get back. Hence why we have to set the benchmark of 100, 200 and whatnot. We're still flying solo here. So it's our money that we're winning to then give to you guys. It's not, sponsored money or whatnot. For you to be in the draw, though, you've got to send in a slip where you back the Bronco bet and one of our best bets. So obviously you like the best bet that somebody has done. So just back that one and then back the Bronco bet as well. You can put 1 cent on either one. It doesn't matter. Send us the slip though to show that you've actually put it on. It can be through any betting agency. Again, we're not sponsored. We're not tied down by anything. So just as long as you put it on. And then we'd like you to... Yeah, not an ad, but it could be an ad. Now, we'd like you to share the reel. That can be to your story. It could be, to a friend or whatever, but just snip that as well and send that in. Hey, I did share your stuff here, whatever. That'll put your name into the draw. Come onto the show. We put everyone who's got on it into a random generator. If your name's at the top, we announce it on the show and we'll get in contact with you via the DM that you sent us. So yeah, that's it. So join in Thursdays, keep an ear out for it, and follow us along. This is actually the first weekend where none of us have hit. So 3 rounds in. That includes the preseason challenge as well. Langers went on a bit of a hot streak there with his 13 pluses. And then Ringer and the Gronk have done really well with their anytimes. I'm just the one. Don't follow me. I'm fucking shit house. I feel like that's going to change this weekend though. I've got I've got my lucky rabbit's foot going out. The winning of the tipping comp. I just had to get that out of the way, and now I'm free as a bird. So the other thing that we do as well, and keep an eye out for this one. This is absolute ludicrousy at its best. Is the road to $1 million. So we allocate 2 games to each of the panel members here at Penalty Broncos. We put on a wild rogue multi on each game. We combine all that through and we put 1 cent. Most betting agencies don't allow you to win more than $1 million. But to give you a inside scoop on how well that's going, over the weekend, we had 3 out of 15 legs hit. So
that's a real road to $1 million. Stay in school, kid.
Yeah. But hey, yellow brick road sort of stuff, mate. You just got to follow it, all right? We'll be fine. So, and if we do hit thoroughbreds, you will be the first to know, no doubt. But yeah, check out the socials every Thursday to see what we've come up with what doozy. This week, the Gronk will be taking the first 2 games: Rabbits, Panthers, Roosters, Storm. Langers, you've got Dolphins, Broncos, Dragons. Who are the Dragons playing? Storm. Who's the Roosters playing?
Titans.
Cooked that one up again. Yeah, so you'll be playing Dolphins, Broncos, Dragons, Storm in the road to $1 million, mate. I've got the Cowboys, Raiders, Sharks, Bulldogs. And then, Jack, you've got the last 2 games. See what happened. Mate, imagine that. Imagine the pressure. Sunday afternoon footy, 2 legs to go. And we've got a betting agency ringing us, panicking.
I'm telling you right now, if there's 1 leg left, I don't give a fuck if it's $1.01. We're cashing out with that.
Nah.
There'll be
right to the death.
There'll be a mutiny on that one.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. All right. Wrap up before we wrap up. Has anyone got anything else to talk about? I think we've pretty much covered everything. I think we've talked the ears off the thoroughbreds.
Yeah, no,
yeah,
I'm
pretty
good,
much. I think we're done. But only one first really quick thing I'll say is imagine being in the eel side, being Zach Lomax, watching Dylan Brown getting $13 million for 10 years and literally the only player that seems to be doing anything at that team at the minute is bloody Zachy Lomax. So that's got to be a tough watch for Eels fans. So
we thought that Kalen Ponga's shoulders were going to snap off. It looks like it might be up to Zachy Lomax to try and do something there. But anyway,
30-something, 240 meters or something today, just working his dick off that kid.
Yeah, I'll be happy with the purchase, but yeah, I'll be fanging for bloody Moses to get back, wouldn't you? All right, thoroughbreds, that's all from us. Send us your thoughts on the game. What did you like? What didn't you like? Any of our opinions that you agree or, tell us to go fuck ourselves as well. If you're listening to us, you've found us, so please spread the word. Tell your mates, like and subscribe to get the updates and whatnot when the podcasts drop. Head over to our socials on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Give us a like, follow, comment along there. Get into our DMs. We're getting some really good interactions with everyone. Love hearing your opinions, no matter what they are. Bet responsibly, be a contributor to society, stay out of one another unless it's consensual, and we will gallop off into the weekend. Catch us next Monday. See us.
Thanks, Thoroughbreds.
Thanks, Sarah Brett.